For 1 week in early February 2017, communities across northern Florida, southern Georgia, and Alabama were gripped by fear as a killer roamed free. The local sheriff described it as the kind of case that law enforcement dreads most, a known killer who chooses his victims randomly and frequently. As authorities searched for the killer, it became evident he wasn't alone. Police tracked the pair's movements across state lines and began to question whether the companion was an accomplice or a captive. Today's case is indeed a terrifying one, a tale of peaceful communities plunged into chaos by a violent murderer, with multiple lives lost. Not all evidence that emerged was clear-cut. Let's dive deeper into the events that unfolded. Milton, the county seat of Santa Rosa in Florida, is located just north of Pensacola, close to the Alabama state line. Historically, Milton was a rough town, once nicknamed Helltown, for the criminals that were sent there from neighboring counties. On January 31, 2017, a guest at the Emerald Sands Inn, a local motel, heard what sounded like 6 gunshots and alerted security. The front desk clerk, investigating the noise, found a gruesome scene. 2 people, Alicia Greer, a 30-year-old mother of 3, and her friend Jacqueline Moore, 39, had been shot dead in their room. Police quickly identified their main suspect, William "Billy" Boyett, an ex-boyfriend of Alicia with a violent past. Alicia had been hiding from him after a violent assault just a week earlier. Billy found her less than 36 hours after her release from the hospital. His presence was confirmed by DNA evidence and witness reports, placing him near the crime scene. A search was underway to locate him as the public became increasingly alarmed. Billy Boyett had a notorious history of violence, particularly against women. Despite multiple arrests, he had always managed to evade serious consequences due to the inability of victims to testify against him. A history of violent incidents, including domestic violence and kidnapping, painted a grim picture of a man who seemed unstoppable by the justice system. The brutal murder of Alicia Greer and Jacqueline Moore was followed by another killing just days later, when a healthcare worker, Peggy Bross, was found shot dead outside her home in Lillian, Alabama. Boyett's black SUV was discovered nearby, along with footage of him and his female companion, Mary Rice, moving through the area. Mary Rice, a 37-year-old mother of 2, was initially considered a potential victim, possibly held captive by Boyett. However, as the police traced the couple's movements through surveillance footage and receipts from stores where they had purchased ammunition and other supplies, questions about her role in the murders began to arise. Was she a hostage, or was she a willing accomplice? Footage from various locations showed Mary calmly purchasing items while Boyett waited outside, raising doubts about her claims of captivity. Eventually, authorities reclassified her status, naming her an accomplice in the multi-state killing spree. Further tragic events unfolded when the couple targeted another woman, Kayla Crocker, in Florida. Kayla was found bound and gravely injured in her home, and despite being rushed to the hospital, she did not survive. The intensity of the manhunt increased, with law enforcement issuing public warnings and urging residents to stay vigilant. The end came when a tip led authorities to a motel in West Point, Georgia, where the couple had been spotted. A standoff ensued, and Mary eventually surrendered. Mary Rice faced multiple charges, including capital murder and accessory after the fact. Her defense claimed she had been a victim all her life, manipulated by Boyett into participating in his crimes under threat to her and her family. The prosecution argued otherwise, presenting evidence that she had multiple opportunities to escape but chose to remain with Boyett. In 2018, Mary Rice was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
How far did you go with school, Ms. Rice?
In college.
Okay. Did you have a high school?
This case remains a chilling reminder of how fear and violence can disrupt communities, leaving lasting scars on the families involved and those left behind.